Okay, we're live. I think we made it. I will be honest, if you've sat here waiting, I apologize. I got distracted. Organizing gigs, sending messages, doing all the things, and suddenly realized that it is, of course, already 7 o'clock. It's 7:03. Welcome along. It's nice to be back. Another little Tuesday live session. And as always, this is a if I get all this working, this is a question and answer session. So if there's something that you've got on your radar that you want to hear, that you're curious about, obviously there's a bunch of things that come up in the comments and things every week as well in the chat that I just don't get to. I try and reply where I can, but sometimes that doesn't always work so well. Or sometimes just replying in the chat is not the easiest way to get an answer and understand what's going on. So feel free to say hi in the chat. And obviously feel free to put in any questions in the chat as well that are on your radar. I've been very much back playing shows and very much enjoying that. The reality though is it means a whole lot less happening on the YouTube channel at the moment. But very nice to be back playing shows. Very nice to be back entertaining people, and a good problem to have as a reason why there hasn't been much content on here. But had a super fun week last week, Tuesday last week with you all, playing some tunes. I've kind of set this session up today with the title of Stop Your Loops Late. Hey Tony, we will get onto that. That is definitely the next video on the channel, but probably not how you think. So I'll go into it in a mo. But yeah, setting this up as a little bit of Stop Your Loops Late. I did a video called Start Your Loops in the Wrong Place. And I have mentioned this with stopping loops as well, but I was playing a little arrangement that I did recently, and it's just such a good example. I thought I'd share it as part of tonight's session. So, Carl, hey man, morning from the UK. How are things in the UK? Cheers for dropping in. So Tony, if you haven't, it hasn't come up on the channel as a video, but it literally will be the next video. Some of you that have caught these Tuesday night streams know the answer, and the answer is I don't have an RC600. A couple of reasons. And there's a part of me that I know there's going to be a bunch of people that are like, dude, I bought it based on your video and your excitement. I was super excited for it. I likely will get an RC600. Rick, in fact, pick Rick's brains about it. Hey brother, nice to see you here. There were 4 that came into New Zealand pretty early, and I missed all of those just at stock of the RC600. And so I kept chatting with them, and it's probably 3 weeks ago now. I got a Rick, I just read your comment. I'm rocking the 600 now, but rocking and Rocky are a few letters apart. Yeah, so look, I got a call like, hey look, we have 2, one the person's not going to get it, so we literally have 1 available. and I said, can you hold it for the end of the day for me? Which they did. And at the end of the day, I just got to the point where I was like, I would love to go in and get it, but just with my schedule, there was no chance I was going to sit down. I have a really solid setup, great with the RC300. It works, it's brilliant. There's nothing I need to change. There are a few cool options, obviously, in the RC600, but that requires a lot of learning time. And I just got to the point at the end of the day where I was like, I am not going to... If I buy it today, it will sit in the cupboard and I won't be able to... Like, there's just... I'm not going to do anything with it. It's going to be sitting there till I can really get it down, get everything locked up and lined up. And also there are still, I don't like saying it, but it is the reality of the pedal. There are still a few little bugs here and there in the unit that are not just user error. And there's been some of that too, because it's just, there's so much in there that, yes, there's going to take a lot of time to figuring out how things work. So, yeah, that's the story. So I'm currently on the RC300, still rocking a very similar pedal board to the last time I did an update on the channel. There's a couple of things changed. I've added in a harmony pedal, which is the TC Helicon Harmony GXT, and so that's in the mix. And I just am about to switch out the mic switcher pedal that I use. There's one arriving from Australia, which is where loopy pedals are from as well, but I have had occasional pops and clicks and things with this one, so testing out a different option that was recommended to me, and we'll see if that provides a little upgrade. It is affected by sometimes if there's lighting in the same power chain and things like that, so hopefully I can avoid those issues. Otherwise I will continue hunting for options. Interestingly, that's something that the RC600 doesn't do still, which there's ways around it. There's workarounds, so you don't have to have a switch, but it fundamentally doesn't do what the switch does. Anyway, Jashon, hey man, finally got my RC500. Good morning from East Africa, Kenya. Hey brother, thanks for dropping in. So good to always hear from you. Oh, thank you man, I appreciate it. We'll soon tag you in a few videos, man. What name do you use on Instagram? My Instagram is David Shanhun, exactly as it appears, just no space on the YouTube channel. That'd be awesome. I look forward to seeing them. Tony, it's been crazy this weekend in London. Jubilee celebration. Oh, of course. Jubilee celebrations meant I had 8 gigs singing for 20 hours. Oh, I love it. That is epic. My fingers on my left hand have just about recovered. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. I've been tagged. Also, just at this point, if you do have questions, if you've jumped on and you've got something specific you want to pick my brains on, feel free to put it in the chat and we'll get to it at some point during this session. I've been tagged recently. I'm in a few different promos and things with the Singing Zone with Per Bristow that I worked with vocally, and highly recommend his work. I still go back and remind myself, because I still have habits that I default to. I want it's like frustrating sometimes, but I still go back and do a lot of his work, and it's really good. And one of the things that's in that promo is me saying I've done up to 9 gigs in a week, and it's pretty cool to look back on, because I remember one gig really clearly where it was the first gig of a weekend. It was a Friday night. I was playing for... Interesting that you mentioned the Jubilee, Tony. It was, I don't know what it was, but it was something to do with a Queen's celebration or of some sort, and they were all celebrating. They were from the UK, had me playing, and I did the gig. It was super fun, but at the last like 2 or 3 songs, because I just used so many other weird muscles trying to sound good, not necessarily feel good. I'd basically lost my voice, and I would do that so often where I would sing, or basically the end of the gig, I would just like hang on, make it, get to the end of the gig, have basically lost my voice and being like this, like my range just shrunk and everything was tight and tense. And then I would spend the next day doing whatever I could to stretch out and get get ready. So I was like, okay, here we go again. I've got another gig tonight. I'm going to try and do my best. And you can imagine over the course of a weekend, everything just got more and more tense and more tight. Till I started thinking that was that was like, that's normal. It's like, it's common. It's maybe not normal. But it is common that a lot of us do that. Rick, we were talking about exactly this stuff, right? Like, if you've got tension in the way that you sing, over time, you're not going to notice that tension. It's just awareness. That tension feels normal because that's what we've been doing for so long. So that's what feels normal. And then if we train and do something that's actually way better for us, it feels odd, it feels strange. It can feel maybe a little bit emotionally vulnerable or uncomfortable on stage. So interesting process of changing and allowing ourselves to change. So Rick, I might have my first 2-day gig ever coming up. So I love it. 2-day gig. That was weird. Like, you're gonna play 1 gig for 2 days. 2 gig day. Awesome, man. That is very cool. Paul, welcome along. I've got the RC500. If you change the settings, i.e. unlinking the start and end for the second track, does it affect the pedal for everything, or can you have different settings for other saves? Paul, I don't know the answer specifically for the RC500. I suspect it's just, there may be a global setting to do that. I suspect it's just on each individual memory, however. I would be surprised if it's not. But to be honest, change it on one setting, one memory setting, and then check the next one. You'll soon have the answer if you try and play the same song. Sorry to say, I haven't played around with the RC500. Again, a cool pedal. There's some good things in the mix. I'm very intrigued watching what happens at the moment. Obviously, where are we now? 6 months really since the release, or since the landing date for some of the Boss RC600s, and it's been interesting watching people wrestle with it. Some have some great success, and then a few niggly things. Other people just go like, hey, I got it to work, but for all the fiddling around, I'm just going to go back to the Head Rush or the RC300 and something that just works. So very interesting I'm watching the space very interesting. And very interestingly, that sounds like I'm got some weird antics going on. I'm very interested in watching everyone's feedback and seeing there's been some really contrasting differences between what people have said about it. So yeah, so it's very interesting. I'm pretty lucky with my vocal health. I actually find that talking it, Tony, I am exactly the same. If I'm struggling vocally for any reason, that is the one thing that will make things the hardest for me. And sometimes I will exit, if I'm in a venue like that, if I take breaks or backing up, I just need to exit or close my mouth, which I'm clearly not very good at. But peers, yeah. Look, habits can change very quickly, but it takes a very deliberate awareness to do that. Definitely. Nice to have you here. Thanks all for dropping in, by the way. I appreciate you all coming on. And also, if you clicked on because of the title of this Ask Me Anything session, we will get to it, I promise. I'm going to chat and dive into any questions and then share my thoughts. Maybe we'll share one example that's just it will seem obvious when I say it, and a bunch of you probably already do it, but I had a few questions and comments on an older video talking about it, like, what? And I possibly should have called this Stop Your Loops Early / Late, because there's benefit for both. Anyway, Rick, I'm in a better place with the 600 than I was with the 300, but I'm far more novice than I expect most of us here. Brother, that's all any of us want, regardless of how we categorize ourselves as like novice or expert, is just can I do the basics that I want, and do I have the options to do some of the interesting things maybe that are a little bit more unique or different for any particular songs or setups that we have. So John, welcome along. Just getting to your comments. I've played guitar in bands on and off for 40 years. I even sang in my first two. I'm thinking of doing a solo acoustic singing act. A total change to rocking out on my Strat. Yeah, for sure. The trouble is I'm totally terrified of being on my own. Brother, I totally get it. It is a very different feeling and vibe, and I wish I could tell you that there was like a, hey, take a pill and you'll feel great, or some sort of instant remedy. But the thing I would do is, because one way or another you're going to feel uncomfortable, and you can either dive in and feel all that uncomfort at once by just booking in and doing a gig, right? Be like, hi, oh my gosh, it's just me, and that can hit pretty hard, but it's like you at some point during the gig you will relax, and just be aware that even with some solid practice, those nerves, those thoughts that'll run through your head might throw you off on various things, but it's actually okay. That we're all human, and probably the thing that makes me the most relaxed now on stage is genuinely realizing I'm okay with if I stuff something up. I practice, so ideally I won't, but I'm human. And sometimes things go wrong. Sometimes things are strange. There's a bunch of things that obviously you can do to just put your mind at ease, of turning up early, setting up, having everything working and all that sort of stuff. And then, but the other thing, if you want to ease yourself into it, film yourself at home. Set up a camera that you're going to watch back, or say, look, I'm going to film an hour's set. I don't know what kind of shows or timing that you're doing, but film like a full hour or 45 minutes or something like that, and watch it back, because you'll go through a lot of the same thoughts and emotions and feelings, judging yourself for, like, once the camera hits record and it's rolling, it's like, if you want to up the ante, tell someone that you're recording it and watch it with them. Like, with them. If you want to make it easier, just send it to them and be somewhere else. If you want to make it if you want to, like, turn up the volume on your thoughts and fears around it. Watch it with them. Watch it back with them. And then, look, anything that went wrong. It's on film. It's not in the public eye, but it's you're taking a step with maybe someone you know or family and friends. But yeah, look, it's just a new journey, and yeah, the peers, exactly. Audience is so supportive. Just don't apologize before you've done anything to apologize for. I like that. It's like, sorry, I'm here. It's like, what? No, we're stoked you're here. Kiko, thanks for being here. Hola, David. Me gusta lo que haces un saludo. I have no idea what that means. It was probably pronounced terribly, but thanks for dropping in. Robert, welcome along. JJ Studios. Hey, David from Cairns, Australia. Keep doing content. It's great. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying it too when at the moment there hasn't been a lot of content. I've been playing a lot, which is great. I've been really loving it. So, but I need to not say this every time I do an ask me anything session. Like, okay, this week I'm totally gonna, and then, yeah, I've been taking things that pop up basically. So, last week was funny. I got on the Tuesday. I got a message. Can you play a 60th tomorrow night? I was like, sure, all right. So Wednesday night, I'm like, okay, I'm rocking out playing a 60th birthday. Thursday I played at a club, and I actually did a live stream on Twitch with that as well, which was an interesting experiment. Yeah, Friday played again. Saturday, Sunday, we had a public holiday on the Monday, so there was a gig on offer, so I jumped in on that as well. It's been very good. Piers, do you have any more reaction videos planned? I do. I actually have a playlist saved, and I just haven't been doing them. But there's some really great. In fact, the last one that I attempted, I will redo. But I watched it. I was filming, doing a reaction. I watched about 7 minutes, and my hard drive ran out of space recording. So we'll pretend. I haven't seen the second half. it's a long video, but I'll pretend. John, you're most welcome, man. Yeah, the filming or recording yourself adds a little bit of that pressure, and you know you'll always be more harsh on yourself than other people are, generally speaking. But it's handy to have things that add that pressure. Like I feel it too. Just being honest, I'm gonna put in a loop and play something for you as part of this session. It's something that I've just put together recently. I was playing it on the weekend and thought this would be great to use as an example, talking about this. But at the same time, it's like there's a part of me that does have the thoughts like it'd just be nice if everything just goes perfectly smoothly, right? Rather than having to go, and I'm pretty quick. If something goes wrong, I'm pretty quick to just delete it, or keep playing, figure out a way around it. But it it is something that still from time to time does cross my mind. So Rick, I haven't really considered that. I think, yeah, look, it's so a couple of things have been happening. Some of you know as well, my website's got hacked, and that might be something that goes into. I'm basically creating a members area, and it means that we'll be able to do some sessions like this Ask Me Anything session, but where we can actually run them via Zoom. We can run them so that I can actually hear people play and vice versa. We can see each other, and then people will be able to say, hey, look, can I play something? I've been struggling. This is what's happening with my loop pedal, or this is, here's what I've done as an arrangement of this loop, but it should be a dance song, but when I play it, people aren't really dancing. What's missing? I'm kind of stuck. And I just think everyone will get so much value from those kind of discussions in much more of a group setting where we can all see and hear each other. So that is on the radar. I haven't, I'd be open to do that if someone was to send me something and be like, hey, look, I'd like your thoughts, I'd like to critique it. I think it would be a really useful YouTube video for people. And it would be funny as well, because whatever I say and share, yes, there might be some good insights and good thoughts and ideas. I might have some strange ideas as well. But the beautiful thing is, in the comments, what happens with videos like that is people actually chip in and are like, man, I can't believe you didn't mention this. That would have been the first thing that I would have suggested. And I will probably go, oh my gosh, of course, thank you. Yes, that's an amazing suggestion that did not cross my mind. So, yeah. All right. Piers, I was singing on stream and my cat jumped up and knocked my backdrop over on top of me. Kept singing. Love it. There's a comment that was on the channel recently where someone said, and I may have understood it wrong, but the guy said that whoever was running the PA, oh John, thank you for that, brother. You don't have to do that, but I appreciate it. Cheers, man. Let me know how you go too. I'm curious if you have I don't know if you've got something lined up already or not, but yeah, let me know if there is something on your radar where you're like, I've got a date, the first gig is then. I mean, that's that's putting more pressure on yourself, but there is a nice aspect to just doing it. Yeah. So anyway, this comment, the guy said, have you got any advice? I was playing a gig and whoever was running the sound while I was looping put on like double delay or an extensive delay, and he's like, I could not hear what was in time or what was not. Honestly, I don't know that there's a good answer to that, to be honest. Being able to hear what's happening with your loop is one of the most important aspects of being able to lock things in time. If you can't hear it, it's very, very challenging. Or I find as well, my loops are just better when I can feel the bass. Like, there's something just physically that you want to move and kind of groove when it, as opposed to, it's, I don't know, it's like, for most of us, right, maybe we all do it now, but there's something about cranking everything nice and loud and just feeling all the grooves that are happening. So let me stop talking, at least a little bit, and going to talk about stopping your loops late. The basics of this is, depending on where the beat lands, we're all pretty wired. A lot of us tap our foot, and we're pretty wired to hit the loop in time with on a beat all the time. There can be a few good times to stop it just after, which allows that full sound of your loop to still play for that beat, which is what you would do if you were playing your last chord. There's still a little part of it that's a little bit longer than your foot hitting the pedal. just to answer the question, Tony, do you use in-ears when you loop? I don't. I actually have a very cheap pair of in-ears, and I really don't like the sound. They are amazing at suppressing other noise, and I really appreciate them. It's on my radar. I probably will buy a better pair, just but it's functional if I put it that way. It's functional if I use them. It cuts out a lot of excess noise, and I can hear what's going on. It's just not super enjoyable because the sound quality from them is just not great. But yeah, I either use a monitor by me, and I usually have that set up regardless of if I think I need it. I can always turn it up. If I don't, depending on what venue and system I'm in, but just a standard kind of wedge or monitor of some form is my go-to. So we'll set up a loop. I don't have a mic to add other bits and grooves and pieces, and clearly don't have the ability to form standard English sentences either, but that's alright. English is overrated. Nice. So this is the basics of a loop that I set up, which some of you will recognize already, I'm sure. Super simple. I spread things out so I can stop and start different sections. So it has a stop, and I'll say you can hear what happened, right? If I stop it on the beat, which feels the most normal, I'll do it again. We actually lose that note, so which is not great, where really what we want is and I'm stopping it just after. It can be a little bit weird to do if you're not used to this, but I just thought this was such an obvious example that then you get a break, you get some space in the loop to come in with that lead part. So literally that's all I thought would be useful to share. It's very obvious, but again, if you record yourself, you'll hear this happening. And what I did for a long time is I kind of did it because I was aware that, you know, I can't stop it quite on the beat because I lose that note, but I would stop it kind of like that, which cuts it off. And now, again, who knows? I've played around with it. It's definitely not perfect every time, but just allowing that little moment to have. It allows that note to happen and then stop the loop, and it gives us some breathing space. So yeah, you're basically stopping on the end. So you're manually stopping it and then restarting it as the lead part goes. Yeah, absolutely, Rick. So it's really to just get that space in the music. There's another little chord in the mix. So not stopping it. And me stopping it. And I'm starting it on. So you've just got to work out what's your beat one if you're doing a lead or something like that. What is beat one? Yeah. I appreciate the question, Rick, because you can't see my feet to know what is happening, which is I really I might go and buy. It's this fun process with gear, right? There's always a thing that it's like, it would be really handy to be able to show that. For some reason, anyway, it would be great. I will get that sorted at some stage. I have potential options, neither of which work very well, but yeah. So the pedal cam for the win, yeah, for sure. And that really, the only idea is the fact that it's like, if you record yourself or if you video yourself, like we were talking about before with John, JJ Studios, you can never have enough gear, more gear. The endless guitar memes. It's like, someone comments that you've got too many guitars and not enough space for other things in your house. It's like, get rid of them. You don't need that kind of negativity in your life. Anyway, I just moved my pedal cam for streams and YouTube. The quest for the perfect composition. Yeah. So the other time that you might want to stop the loop early is, I think I only use this at the end of the song, and a lot of times I have the OC3, some of you know the octave pedal, the Boss OC3, set up to have guitar and still bass in the mix. So it can get a bit muddy if you play the full chords. It's starting to get a little bit muddy, so I tend to do that. Play with my thumb, mute that fifth string, and it stays cleaner, rather than where it's like, it's a bit much bass coming into the mix. Anyway, a lot of times at the end of the song, I'll just use this. I don't do it on this track, but I'll use this as an example. At the end of the song, if I was finishing, I might stop it just before that last beat comes in, just so it's like, cool, a nice finish, rather than like a full loop sound. And then you've got to, again, a little bit like before, you've got to work out where the timing works to stop. And I think with this, I would do the stop we did before. So, yeah. I'm an unaccompanied singer. Sometimes I think I have too much gear. Then I see a cool old microphone. Nice. Once you have the pedal cam, you need to light need to light your pedal board too. Oh, I tell you what, I bought the other day some fairy lights for. I thought they would have a cool look. I've been doing some streaming, some shows on Twitch. Turns out I'm using a webcam, and it really confused it with the lighting. It looked worse. It was not a great result. But the good side is then we filmed some promo for a new duo I'm doing, and I had some fairy lights, and that looks really nice. But that was filmed with an actual camera. And now forms some promo that we've got. Jashon, the answer to how many pedals one can have is just yes. Perfect. Oh, John, I bought an OC3 after seeing you using one. Works great. Yeah, they're great. So I'm using at the moment, I have the OC3, which is both. The bass and guitar coming through. And then I have the OC5 set up just as the bass. You will, if you're watching, you will hear a little bit of the guitar tone coming through because I've got a condenser microphone in front of me that's going to pick up the natural guitar sound as well as it running through all the pedals. So you really need to be able to turn practicals like that all the way down to very dim. Yeah, it's a combination. I've just found, and like doing this, I really like setting up gear, but the reality is being able to have a webcam that's just like ready to go means I can jump online, we can hang out and chat, we can hopefully do something useful and connect in without plugging in and having hours of setup and figuring out timing of audio delays and stuff like that. So yeah, John, the being able to change the range is the winner with that pedal, very much so. Boydie B, do you do covers exclusively in your concerts, or do you do originals? Also, have you ever published the full set list you do? Great questions. It very much depends. I usually will play some originals at probably most of the shows. Now, I never used to. I just used to do covers. But in saying that, I typically will tour doing my own ticketed shows, which is my stuff, very different from being paid for someone's event at a venue, at a, things like that. So, to be honest, the more people have gotten to know me and some of my stuff, it's felt more appropriate to play my originals at those shows because people are coming to see me at a venue. They know some of them, they're going to request them. It feels like it's still a good fit for who's there. Whereas when I started out, I just played covers because it was like my writing is improved, songwriting is improved, but also no one knew my music originally. So if I played an original, even if it was a reasonable tune, it was going from people kind of clapping along to a lot of times people just going, I don't. This is the New Zealand entertainment industry for you too. There's a lot of venues where people go and musicians are booked just to hear stuff that they know and enjoy and it's familiar. You don't want to scare them with like a song they don't know. And then there's a bunch of venues that are like very come here for music, and we have all sorts of cool bands and eclectic things, and they might play you all sorts of stuff and enjoy what is offered, which is a different vibe as well. So I'm sure that happens around the world. I'm aware different countries, different countries, different people. We all have top things that are like song. I remember a friend came over here from Newcastle, and he's like, his go-to songs when he started out here, it was like, oh, they just die. Like they those songs weren't popular in New Zealand, which is always fascinating too. And the same goes if I was to head over to the States or to the UK. There's some things that I would play here that just be like wouldn't land, and there'd be other songs that I'm sure I would get asked to play pretty quickly that it's like I probably haven't. I may not have even heard of the artist, so who knows. I haven't ever published a full set list. I am looking at publishing a few things in terms of, and the reason for that is there's so many tunes, and so in terms of me doing, if I'm doing a bar or a venue gig, I want to entertain who's there. So there's a bunch of things where I will look up a song. I played a cool Sheryl Crow song actually the other day that I'd never played before. I know the song, but someone asked for it, and now I'm like, it's a great song if it makes you happy. So yeah, it's an interesting mix. I would much prefer to be an entertainer and connect with people in certain scenarios than do a polished job of a song. But getting back to your question, I will be publishing a bunch of loops that I do, and I will be starting to break those down, just how I do them. Obviously a bunch of people will do them differently, but my hope is that you get some inspiration either on how I do that song that you can copy, or that you can be like, oh my gosh, I could apply that info to entirely another song that I'm learning and doing. So yeah. Nothing else making videos like having everything always set up. Yes. Are you the pioneer of the 2-octave pedals configuration? I'm not sure, Rick. There's a guy on Twitch that has 3-octave pedals. I'm not quite sure how he uses them. But that's Spirit Music, who you've probably come across. I needed to do something similar, but my board is too small, so I'm just changing the mode on the OC3. I used to do that, and then when the OC5 came out, it's got a richness that the OC3 doesn't, which is nice. And also I'm saying this as you're all online, be like, I'm sorry, I hope I didn't cost you the amount of an OC5 because you're excited to go out and buy it. They both do the same thing, but there's a little bit of somehow more love that I feel from the OC5, but you'd hope so because it's their updated version of it. JDR Studios, have you ever thought of coming to Australia? I have. I've been to Australia, and I've done ages ago some stuff in Melbourne. I've played near Sydney at the Illawarra Folk Festival, and I've done a few sort of... I don't know that we really put on a show, but some stuff up the sort of Sunshine Gold Coast, along near and above Brisbane. I haven't done a full tour, which would be very cool. Just some planning and things to sort out, but I'd like to do a few more festivals and get a few more connections happening. But at some stage, that'd be great. Yeah. Cairns, include Cairns, definitely. Tony, yeah. Look, I find it, the originals versus covers thing is always annoying. I take requests from the audience. It's quite cool when people actually ask for one of my own ones. I don't think I think I have less hang-ups sometimes about what I play. Like, if it's my stuff, awesome. If it's covers, awesome. But I guess I'm fortunate I organise shows specifically to do my own stuff and that sort of thing as well. So I feel like both of them get good expression. I'm fulfilled in both, but I think I would find that frustrating if I felt like I didn't have enough of an outlet for either of them, for me personally. So, right. Anyway, we're gonna wrap up tonight's session. I need to get back on Twitch. It's such a nightmare setting it up. I dropped it. Yeah. Cool. The 600 may solve the sound problems you're having. Yeah. John, there's also something new coming out. As an octave pedal? Is that what you're referring to? I have not heard these whispers. Rick, at some stage. Yep. That was an accidental pun. But thanks everyone. I appreciate you tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the session. Bunch of cool little bits and pieces in the mix for that. And looking forward to your new vids. You do such a great job breaking them down. Boydie B, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And yeah, honestly, a lot of your comments on the videos and things as I've done stuff, it has fueled me wanting to create more. I really thrive on that, like knowing that it's stuff that I've created is valuable or useful. Plus, there's always some amusing comments and things like that in the mix too, which is just fun. But it is, yeah, it is nice pulling things apart and sharing it, and yeah, getting stuff out there and seeing that it's useful. It's been valuable to people. So thank you very much, everyone. It's been fun connecting in. It's nice jumping back on and doing these again. And happy looping, playing, singing, dancing, creating. And we will see you another time. Piers, I'm going to check out that interview. Appreciate you sharing it. John, as always. JJR Studios, right, we'll have to make sure I make it up to Cairns when it happens. Appreciate you all hanging out, and yeah, thanks for the session. We'll see you next Tuesday, if not before. I was about to say I have a slightly more relaxed week this week, but literally the reason I was a couple of minutes late was because I was booking in a gig. So suddenly the week's sneaking up, filling up with things. Appreciate you all. Thanks for dropping in. We'll see you later somewhere on the channel. Ciao for now. Michael, last question. How many hours are your usual gigs? This week's been a real mix. 4 hours, 3.5, 3 of them were 3. What else? I did a stream, so that's kind of whatever I want. What else did I do this week? What did I play? Yeah, 3 hours is a standard gig in New Zealand, so yeah. Alright, we snuck one in there. See you, everybody.